evening. Welcome to QUT Web News.
Good evening.
The environmental impact of coal seam gas exploration just got murkier. A report released by the Queensland Water Commission today warns hundreds of water bores will be affected, but mining companies insist that's manageable.
Farmers and graziers have waited for the Queensland Water Commission's report with bated breath, but it didn't condemn the mining industry as they might have hoped. While 528 private water bores are expected to be impacted by gas exploration, that represents just 2.5% of properties in the Surat Basin. Mining companies have welcomed the report, but it's cold comfort for farmers on the front line.
Most of the bores that are in the Walloon coal measures that are affected by this will have an impact of less than 21 metres, which can still be quite significant for a landholder.
Tenure operators within the research area are legally obligated to follow the recommendations of the report. Over the next 3 years, the Queensland Water Commission will expand their research to include nearly 500 monitoring points. During that time, it is predicted the energy companies will establish 30,000 gas wells above the basin. But Queensland Greens Senator Larissa Waters wants to know why the government is rushing environmental approvals. She says Premier Campbell-Newman needs to outline exactly how he intends delivering on his election promises to secure landholders' rights.
The state government has been playing catch-up and it's made some improvements, but there's still no rights for landholders to say no, and there's still going to be these long-term impacts on our groundwater. So we need our laws to be strengthened.
The public is invited to comment on the draft report, and submissions will be added to the final report due to be released on July 18. Brock Taylor, QUT News.
Aboriginal activists in Brisbane's Musgrave Park are tonight digging in, maintaining their tent embassy. After being evicted from the original site to make way for this weekend's Panegyri Festival, they've now relocated just 200 metres away.
The tents may have downscaled, but the Sovereign Embassy is still here in Musgrave Park, but in an area approved by the Brisbane City Council. Activists still fear they may be forced to move again before the weekend, so they've hired lawyers just in case.
We do have a verbal agreement on the cards with the Brisbane City Council where we can utilise the area.
Yesterday's arrests and confrontation with police has created tensions between the activists and the Greek community. The Panegyri chairman says he was sad to see people arrested yesterday.
We do have the relationship with the Indigenous. We don't have an issue whatsoever with them.
He says he was originally happy for the protesters to set up camp before things grew.
When it first started, it was only a marquee or two tents there. It wasn't a major thing, and I thought we could work around it quite comfortably.
Festival or no festival, embassy leaders say it's their right to have a protest presence in the park.
We're allowed to be in there on our own right, as sovereign people, and also in the agreements that we've had as well.
The group is scheduled to meet with Lord Mayor Graham Quirk on Tuesday to discuss the embassy's ongoing presence. The fire in numbers may have diminished since yesterday, but it's clear the resolve is just as strong, with no end in sight for these protesters or their cause. Jane Buckle, QUT News.
In the first sitting day of the new Parliament, the Premier promised his government will never lord it over the people of Queensland, while his deputy Jeff Seeney accused the opposition of failing like no other state government has failed.
It began like the first day of school. The bell rang. The new students were confused.
I think we're as ready as we can be, given the limited amount of information we've received from the government about the run of the day today.
Not everyone got to do their homework.
I only just received a briefing on the planned proposals to the committee system this morning at 9 o'clock.
And everyone got a refresher on good manners.
I remind honourable members that this is the member's first speech and should be listened to with the courtesies reserved for such occasions.
In his maiden speech, the Premier thanked his family and says he will draw inspiration from his predecessors, and he took a swipe at the federal government.
My government will demand a better deal from the federal government. I believe the federal government must live up to its responsibilities because Queensland can't continue to bear the weight of duplication and red tape.
The new government wasted no time in attacking the opposition, demanding an apology for the ALP's smear campaign against Mr Newman's wife.
It was unprecedented and it was disgusting.
The makeup of Parliament is quite different this time around, and Mr Newman will be needing to make some urgent changes. But with only 7 ALP members left to make up the opposition, question time is said to be a lot less fiery.
So the actual opposition and the ability for them to effectively oversight, interject, play up, is limited to that number, of people. So it's quite a different parliament to anything that I've experienced before.
Parliament will resume next week. Isabel Rowe, QUT News.
If you think you're overworked, underpaid and predisposed to having high blood pressure, today's your day. Experts in Brisbane have celebrated World Hypertension Day by releasing the findings of a world-first study into what makes our hearts tick.
High blood pressure is common. Too common. In fact, more than 500,000 Queenslanders suffer the condition. Specialists say it's a silent killer.
It's the leading contributor to stroke and cardiac disease in our society, and also a major contributor to chronic kidney disease and eye disease, so it is a very important condition.
Originally, there was thought to be no cause or cure, but Professor Michael Stovasser's finally starting to find some answers, after 10 years of intensive research.
If you can find a cause, such as primary aldosteronism, you may be able to offer a cure with the option or the opportunity of patients getting off all of their medications and having their blood pressure return to normal.
The Queensland professor's pioneering research has excited the international medical community.
This research is the research that led to the discovery that primary aldosteronism was very common is really a Brisbane invention and has been now replicated in many countries in the world.
He hopes his research will make people change their health habits before it's too late. Globally, 7 million people die of hypertension every year, with more than 1.5 billion sufferers. That's why every year on May 17th, more than 47 countries celebrate World Hypertension Day. Trish Carney is a patient at the PA who has received ongoing treatment since 2006. As a patient of Professor Stovasser's, she's helping the good doctor on his quest to change our health habits.
Eating healthily and good exercise, not just 10 minutes a day, but, I try and do 4 to 5 times a week, half hour every day.
Amity Newman, QUT News.
It may not be health food, but good chocolate is hard to refuse. And being a chocolate judge would have to be one of the best jobs around. Today, a handful of those experts put the best chocolate to the test at the RNA Showgrounds.
Judgment Day is here at the Royal Queensland Food and Wine Show. Sweet tooth applicants across the country have placed their chocolatey creations in the running for the title of Champion Chocolate of Show.
We've got entries from Tasmania, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland. 93 entries overall, which is probably almost double what we expected for the first show.
The judges looked at filling, tempering, craftsmanship and decoration.
Very little melt on the chocolate as well.
And the most important of the lot, taste.
Firstly, something with very clean, balanced, harmonised flavours, something that will melt on your mouth.
To take home an impressive medal and great marketing advantages, the champion chocolate makers need to know just what makes a great treat.
Something that is made with passion, dedication, knowledge and understanding of flavours, very skilled artistic craftsmanship.
With the judges saying that this range of Australian chocolate is up to par with the European standard, there's no question that you won't find your average Kit Kat or Curly Whirly. The only question on the judges' lips is, who's paying for the gym membership?
For the judges, it's just another hard day's work. Tegan Sides, QUT News.
Time now for a look at the weather. It was fine and sunny in Brisbane today with blue skies and light cloud cover overhead. Temperatures in the southeast today, Brisbane ranged from 13 to 24 degrees. The Sunshine and Gold Coasts also reached tops of 23. A chilly 5-degree start for Ipswich, warming to a maximum of 24. Around the nation tomorrow, and Sydney will be sunny with a top of 22. A low of -2 in Canberra will bring an early morning frost. A possible late shower in Melbourne. Adelaide will range from 10 to 20 with a shower or two. Perth 21 and Darwin a top of 31. The forecast for Queensland and Mount Isa will climb to 28 degrees. Cairns will have a low of 21 and a top of 29. 16 to 28 in Townsville. Mackay 25. Rocky will range from 15 to 26. Bundaberg a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 25. Longreach a low of 10. The outlook for Brisbane: tomorrow will be fine but partly cloudy with a minimum of 13 and a top of 24. Saturday will also bring a top of 24. Sunday will have a minimum of 13 and a top of 23 with a possible shower. And that brings you up to date with the weather.
And that's all the news we have for now.
We'll be back tomorrow with more QUT news. Goodbye.
Goodbye.